Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
The thing that is most misunderstood about sports radio is its function. It's not that you're supposed to look. There are shifts, there are day parts where if you want to get into the minutia, if you want to talk about cycling and what they do on special teams and all the other things that go into it, all the details that go into being an NHL team, there are shifts for that. There are hours of that. That's not what a morning show does. A morning show isn't supposed to, I'm supposed to call someone or bring the coach on who will explain those moves. I bring the general manager on. I can bring on one of the players. This is what hosting a morning show does. I'm hard pressed to think that going to work for a job that you hate, for a boss who sucks, for you getting yelled at every day and maybe not getting the money that's worth it to you. Maybe you have a hard day where you're outside every day. Hey, there's a lot of people in Western Canada that listen to that show that weren't just from Calgary. They were also from Saskatchewan. And then, you know, these guys would be out working the fields and so on. They wanted to get some laughs in with a little bit of the sports. So what you want to do is be an entertaining guy, and hopefully you have the chops to actually do that. And then on the other side, you call someone who can explain all those things better than I can, better than any probably morning guy can, because there's a reason why they're a morning guy, because they were probably, for the most part, in broadcast and maybe not a great athlete. Look, my background is weird. It's different. I played at a very high level of sports, but I also started doing stand-up when I was in grade 12. Freak and weird. I was a goalie and a drummer. All the weird stuff that goes into this brain where I hear the voices. I'm sitting there looking at a football game. All of a sudden, I hear Peyton Manning going, what he should have done. What he should have done was you got to pull that back. You got to make them read into when you're going to play action pass. You don't just run with it, dummy. That's not RPO. This is what goes on in his head. This is what I have going on. Bob Cole,
I get it.
All kinds of stuff is going on there.
I don't even think it's weird.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
I say it every day with the people that I'm around. It's not that people are dumb, maybe ignorant. Ignorant means unaware of how things work. We've really realized this in the last 6 months about a lot of things.
how about that?
I'm not criticizing you. I've just never met anybody like that before. Everybody in my circle likes a little bit of everything, or a lot of everything. But that's the whole idea of diversifying, right? Variety is the spice of life.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Welcome inside a Football Friday. We are live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. You'll see some shots from the interior. Hi, Dougal. I can tell you it's you, right? Hey, we have a live studio audience here. The sound guys, Darren Moose DuPont, aren't here yet. So I don't know if they can't even hear. I can't do it all. What a great way to start the show. We have people. Is Moose DuPont here? Do we have Darren Moose DuPont at least here for the warm-up on a Football Friday? Man, are we off and running? Yeah. Hey, Dougal, you might want to find some staff. Yeah. Well, yeah, we had a lot of people show up the other day for the live Theo interview, and I thought we were rolling there. And now we got people showing up today, and the speakers aren't on. So, but anyways, you and I are fine. How do you like us so far? Yeah, how do you like us so far? Live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and WQEE Radio, where we are Atlanta's NHL show. So in this warm-up where we're going to cover the quick six show topics, we'll get into all of the sports and then all football the rest of the way. Randy Chevrier is going to be with us today. And right off the start, for those that don't know, how about this guy? Long snapper, originally from Montreal, played in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys, New York Jets, and then in the CFL where he won 3 championships with the Edmonton Eskimos, Calgary Stampeders, and Saskatchewan Roughriders. And now he's hosting a very popular radio show and podcast, The Chevy and Nasty Show. He's a beauty, and he's going to be with us a little later on. Justin Dunk will be with us live from the CFL Combine in Edmonton. And we've got Brandon Isaac joining us, the Edmonton Elks defensive coordinator. So there's a lot of exciting people coming up on the program today. Can you hit the quick stick show horn, please? I used to get in so much trouble for calling out people in my old job. So I'm not going to do that. But we've got people showing up to watch the show live, and nobody's turned the speakers on, and I don't know how to do it. Should I learn how to do that, Moose? I got the lights going. I know how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, you've learned everything else on the fly. It's just one more thing. But no, that's kind of funny. Hopefully, somebody is on their way down right now.
They're on their way. That's what you say when you don't really know the answer, whether they're on their way or not. You just say that, right?
That's right.
To appease them.
That's right.
Okay. Am I doing it right? All right. Can you hit the horn again, Jordan? Or stop making mouse. Thank you.
Yes.
We're gonna open with NHL leftovers from Thursday night. Adam Lowry scored the tie-breaking goal with 9:13 to play, and the Winnipeg Jets earned a 3-2 victory over the Anaheim Ducks. Kyle Connor scored his 28th goal, and Connor Hellebuyck made 18 saves for the Jets, who opened a 3-game California roadie with their third victory in 4 games. I'm trying to sit here. I understand I've been inundated with coverage for the last 24, 48 hours about how the Jets vets don't care. That's what I'm hearing. And they're not motivated. Then I read they go into Anaheim and win, and a must-win, and they've won 3 of their last 4. So what are they supposed to win? 5 of their last 4 games? Anyways, they're now 6 points up on Calgary for the final Western playoff spot. Elsewhere, Andrei Kuzmenko scored, knots an assist, and set a record as his Vancouver Canucks toppled the San Jose Sharks 7-2. Logan Thompson here in Calgary made 37 saves, and the Vegas Golden Knights beat the Flames 3-2. Milan Lucic and Nazem Kadri scored for Calgary, who got 29 saves from Jacob Markstrom and had 2 goals called back. It was a very busy night. I think there was 12 games. The only other one I'm going to mention here is in Sunrise, Florida. Brothers Eric and Mark Stahl of the Florida Panthers declined to wear special Pride-themed warm-up jerseys ahead of the Panthers' 6-2 loss to Toronto. Austin Matthews had 2 goals for the Leafs, and Matt Murray made 33 saves. Matthew Tkachuk and Nick Cousins scored for the Panthers. So those are some of the leftovers from Thursday night. The Panthers thing aside, kudos, Moose. We didn't officially bet on the game, so I will not be streaking during the Calgary Stampede because we didn't agree to that.
Oh, sure. Now it wasn't official.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't shake on it.
Hey, I wouldn't have done it either. So,
right? Am I doing it right? But I'll say this about the Flames situation. It's not good, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's in my commentary today at rodpeterson.com. You can go read it right now. It's the top item running, or listen to it on Saskatchewan radio where it airs. Here in Calgary, it's bad. I watched the game, a good portion of the game beside a Sutter. And I'll be honest, there's a million Sutters, so I'm not going to say who it was. But when you watch a game with a Sutter, you see it 180 degrees opposite. There he is. 180 degrees opposite. They came right from the front, Moose. Right from the front concierge is here. We went right to the top. And he knows how to turn the speakers on. So let's put it this way. There's a lot of finger pointing going on here. Everybody's pointing the finger at Daryl Sutter. The Sutters are kind of not buying that, and they're pointing the finger at other places. That's what happens when the team's losing. I walked in here this morning, one of the security guys. I said, I think what did I say? Something about the magic number. I think it's over. And he goes, I think it was over 10 games ago. But the game is sold out. It's all everybody's talking about today here in Calgary is the loss. So what was I have some more thoughts on the Flames and where they're going, but what were you, did you catch the Leafs and the Panthers? I know Clark did.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that, and that was a big one, again, for Toronto. Tough one for Florida because, they're in a dogfight in the East to, lock down a final playoff spot. So, and all the attention, of course, wasn't really on the game. It was on the Stahl brothers, not wearing the jerseys. And then there's photos circulating of Eric in a Pride jersey when he was with Montreal. And, Mark having a Pride jersey when he was with the Rangers. So that stuff really sucks. But when you look at the Flames and Jets for a second, the Jets win, the Flames lose, and that sucks. But I like what you said about the Panthers, how they got to win, 11 of their next 14. They got to go 11-4 down the stretch, or whatever the numbers were at the time. If you
I
do
didn't
that
say
with
that.
The Flames,
Randy Moeller did, but yeah, anyways.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You passed it along on the show. If, you look at the Flames schedules and you think, okay, where are they going to make up the points? And if you stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and say, we got to win this many games, and these are the games. Boom, 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 boom. The game against Vegas is probably not the one you're circling as the game you're going to win. When you're talking about one of maybe the best team in the Western Conference, you know? So I wouldn't be so upset over this, but it just sucks because it's compounded by a Winnipeg win, and now you're 6 points out, and you're in a worse spot than you were when you woke up yesterday morning.
Regarding going streaking during the Calgary Stampede, John Ohm in Winnipeg says, Rod, streaking at the Calgary Stampede, make sure you wear your white hat.
Oh, no.
I'm not joking. I think at some point I may be white-hatted by the city of Calgary for the wonderful things that we got going on between the RP show and the city of Calgary. But wait, hey, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Which, speaking of that, I follow a lot of Panthers on Twitter. I got a lot of Panther fan friends. Tell me what you think about this, Darren, because you fancy yourself as the business guy. The Panthers have not clinched a playoff spot yet. They sent out an email to their season ticket holders and fans this week saying, secure your 2023 playoff ticket package. And fans were like, no! We haven't clinched yet. You've jinxed us. Do you think they should have done that or not?
No, I'm with you. Sorry, you didn't say it was your opinion. You said fans. I'm with the fans. They say, no, you jinxed it. You jinxed it. I mean, from a business perspective, they're sitting there being like, guys, hockey people, it doesn't matter whether they make it or don't make it. We have to be prepared for if they do make it. And we need to get these tickets on sale. So we need we got to go through the process of season ticket holders get the first crack, and then the public, and then single game tickets. So I get all that. But no, I wouldn't have. I would wait till the last possible second to send those out because you're right. They haven't clinched the spot yet. And, sports people are very superstitious.
Well, I've been at this a long time. I got asked again last night in the media room, VIP room, if I'll ever go back to working for a team. And at this time, I just can't see it. I don't really want to, but I do know how things work. And that business and marketing office upstairs and the players and coaches' offices downstairs, they don't talk. They probably shouldn't talk. And I'm with you. You got to send out the marketing materials for the playoffs, but I could see how that would tick off the players and the coaches. They don't work together. They've never worked together, and I can confidently say today, they will never work together. The operations and the team staff, they just don't. They won't. The players and coaches, they won't. And on the Sutter thing, listen, I don't care whether the Flames keep or not Daryl Sutter. Daryl and I aren't close. I'm closer to some of his brothers. But I'll say this. Everybody's pointing the finger at Daryl, and I got a bit of a problem with that. But I'm pretty relatively new to this town, so say whatever you want. I don't care what the media is going to say. But Frank Saravelli, who's been on this show, everybody knows Frank out of Philadelphia, the Daily Face-Off Insider. He's tweeting, calling out Daryl Sutter last night for why he doesn't have Jonathan Huberdeau on the ice with a minute to go, down a goal. And I'm like, Frank, you're not even at the game. You haven't been here all game. I watched it. I love Jonathan Huberdeau, but I've watched him all year, and a lot of nights I got to check the score sheet to see if he even played. I'm sorry. He's giving the puck up all over the ice. He's missing the net. He's playing terrible. Okay? And then there's this stuff they're talking about here in town that Kadri and Daryl Sutter don't get along. And you can imagine the talk last night in the press box. I said, well, Kadri's won a Stanley Cup. He now thinks he's got a voice. Well, there's NHL scouts going, he doesn't done anything compared to Daryl. So tensions are high is the bottom of the story, bottom of the thing. And that's why around a team, I don't want any part of it, Darren. It's just, you know what it's like. Everybody's afraid that they're going to get fired. Everybody's looking over their shoulder. Everybody's talking noise about each other. It's horrible when you're with a team that's on the bubble right now with the Flames, and you might end up missing the playoffs, and everybody's largely in the last year of the contracts. It's gross. Have you been around it?
I have, and you're right. Like, everything's great when things are going well, right? There's no problems. I'm willing to overlook the mistakes. I'm willing to overlook the things that you do that annoy me, whatever, when we're all having success. But when we're not, now we're at each other's throats. And there is no team that can go through any length of time and only have success and avoid any turbulence. It's just not going to happen. And you're seeing it now in Calgary. And it's It's tough. I'm with you, man. I like where we're sitting today rather than, being in the middle
Well,
of
it's
it.
just we're so far ahead of the game. I had a reporter last night tell me that a coach, I won't say who, called him at home and said, hey, who told you this with this your report? He's like, I'm not telling you who told me. Is it true? And he's like, well, it's true, but who told you? What are you doing? Coaches calling the media at home to shake him down for something they reported that was true. That's where we're at now. No thanks. Hey, folks, don't miss comedian, actress, producer, and podcaster Whitney Cummings live at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. Into the football stuff. Nick Saban says his quarterback, Bryce Young, is the best prospect in the upcoming NFL draft. Now, the star Alabama passer and 2021 Heisman Trophy winner is trying to convince NFL teams that the Crimson Tide coach is right. From the combine to Thursday's pro day at his old practice facility, Young threw a scripted series of 50 passes on Thursday in Tuscaloosa, mostly to former teammates, before a large contingent of NFL coaches, scouts, and executives representing all 32 teams. Young and Ohio State's C.J. Stroud are vying to be the first player taken on April 27th. I will stop there and say that's today's poll question for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center. Who will go number one in the NFL draft on April 27th? Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies and the state of California. Stroud or Young? Young or Stroud? It's very similar to the Peyton Manning, Ryan Leaf situation from the late 90s between Indy and San Diego. And, of course, Peyton Manning ended up going number one, and Ryan did not have a good career at all. And who knows how these guys are going to turn out. You would have been about 10, Darren, when that thing was going on between Manning and Leaf, but it was big talk, and we didn't even have Twitter yet. I'm going to vote for Bryce Young because I'm an Alabama guy. That's my team. Who would you take number one overall?
It's a great question. I've been going back and forth on this since you told me about the poll question. My heart says take Bryce Young. Better, I think a better overall instincts, better mind football player, had the success. But the NFL's weird, man, and I think I'm going to vote C.J. Stroud. And here's why. I think, you look at the body, it's very, rare for an undersized quarterback like Bryce Young to come in and have that success. Stroud's got a bigger arm. He's got the physical tools. He played pretty darn good at Ohio State. So I'm going to go with C.J. Stroud in this one. And I think that's what Carolina's going to do too.
I'll check the poll results a little later on. We've got a team of people trying to figure out the sound system today. I didn't touch it. I just want to put that out there. Landry writes in and says, no matter who goes number one, Carolina is bound to screw it up. How about that? Jeff, the Stamps fan, regarding playoff tickets for sale. He says, you pay for a playoff ticket with your Stampeders season ticket package too. We aren't used to the credit. But for the last 2 seasons. Yeah, you pay up front and you get a playoff ticket in there, assuming they're going to host a home playoff game, which they largely do. John in Edmonton says TSN should air some of the CFL Combine. They do it with the NFL Combine. I don't really want to get into what others should do. I know what we do. But I sit there and I watch SportsCenter every day, and I'm like, NFL news, a lot of hockey news, March Madness news, not a lot of Canadian sports news, but it doesn't say Canada Sports Center. It's the Sports Network. That's what it says. A lot of times they're talking about stuff that we don't talk about at all. Monty in Saskatoon says, it's a business in sports, Rod and Moose. So we just got a stern talking to from Monty. It's a business, don't you know? It's not a game anymore, Darren. What are we thinking? We'll be right back. Randy Chevrier is going to be with us. Justin, what?
Trust Monty to bring some clarity to the conversation.
Monty knows. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Live look at the folks hoping to have the speakers turned on here soon at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on a football Friday. And we appreciate those that did show up for your favorite daytime sports talk show on Game Plus TV, YouTube, and WQEE. Darren Moose Dupont is with us, and let's continue with the frivolity and the fun, Moose, if you don't mind. Lot of viewers in Edmonton. Rich up there writes in, he says, for those of you clamoring to watch live action of the CFL Combine, 3 words: get a hobby. And John goes on to say, the Oilers haven't clinched yet. They did that too, telling fans to buy season tickets and get playoff 2023 tickets. Yeah, I'm sure they did. I'm not, by the way, admonishing the teams for doing that. What I'm telling you is this was what they were saying in Florida, is that the team is on the playoff bubble, and the fans were complaining that that they sent out the playoff ticket packages. So whatever, don't shoot the messenger. People do that anyways. I'm used to it. So to that CFL Combine thing, for those that care, and I quite frankly are wondering how many that is, but the final results have rolled in from Commonwealth Stadium as the testing portion of the CFL Combine presented by New Era has completed. Prospects completed the vertical jump on Thursday, with Bishop's defensive back Jake Kelly nabbing the highest vertical at 40.5 inches. Global players controlled the top of the bench press, with 4 of them landing in the top 5. Defenseman Max Partinson of Great Britain and Blessman Tayala of American Samoan descent led the way on the bench with 29 reps each. In the afternoon session, International Combine invitee Gabriel Appiah-Kubi had the fastest 40-yard dash at 4.44 seconds. This reminds me, pause for a second, of that hockey tournament in Coral Springs, Florida last year. Remember that Latin America Cup I told you about? I'm like, Darren, this is exciting. There's going to be hockey teams there from Mexico and Venezuela and Cuba. And that's what they said. So then I end up talking to one of the teams. And I'm like, how does it feel to be in America playing hockey? And the kid goes, dude, I'm from Cleveland.
How about that?
He was of Venezuelan descent. That's how the tournament. Wow, these global guys, I just wonder, do they live here? Did they once stop in Germany? Like, I don't know, but
Right.
I'm not that interested. I will be when I go up there, however, Saturday to watch it live, but they're going to be into some drills there. What we're doing right now is track and field. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. You know, it's often been called the underwear Olympics, right? And does it matter? I mean, it does for sure. I think, to be honest, now the CFL Combine, it's just, and I didn't think I'd go this direction. The CFL Combine probably matters more than the NFL Combine because there's less footage of these players. There's less access to them during the season. I mean, we have some very minor TV deals and broadcast deals for university athletics in Canada, and some of the overseas, world players if they're not playing here. And if you're not playing NCAA, but this might be for scouts the real only opportunity to see them in person or see them play. So I get it, but at the same time, none of these names are jumping off the page at you or I.
I'm not going to downplay the importance of the CFL nor NFL Combine because I understand it's important, but nor for that matter the pro days. And again, the poll question today for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center is who will go number 1 overall in the NFL draft, C.J. Stroud of OSU or Alabama's Bryce Young. I just looked in the break, 50-50, right down the middle. And that's pretty interesting. We had our director of scouting, Craig Smith, who's won 2 Grey Cups. He was watching yesterday. Because I said, what are you going to see at a pro day or at a combine that you haven't seen on film? There's miles and miles and miles. And Craig goes, well, you want to see him live. I get that. My dad worked in the NHL as a scout for 26 years. I get it. But you don't need to. In the they want to kick over every possible rock. And their jobs depend on it, right? Their jobs absolutely depend on that. If you go and watch SportsCenter today, they had a clip from Louis Riddick, the TSN, well, he's ESPN, Monday Night Football color guy, worked in the Washington Redskins front office. He said all the things that go into deciding who's going to go number 1 or number 2, you have no idea. They're not just decided out here today on this field. They're not decided in the game film. They're also decided in the interviews. Like it's so highly complicated and scientific. So it all rolls into that. I'm just not interested. Not that interested. Okay? Hey, by the way, Moose, if you look. Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
No, I just said it's fair. I'm with you, man. Like, it'll be fun to go and see everybody, shake hands, and be a part of it. It'll be really cool having everybody together. Do we really live and die on these results from it? Probably not.
Scouts do. I don't. If you love the timeless music of the Eagles, and who doesn't, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute on Thursday, April 27th. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. Moving on to point 4. I bumped this up on the order. It's March Madness, when I came home from the Flames game last night, I caught the end of the game in Las Vegas. Julian Stroud hit a three-pointer with 6 seconds to go, lifting Gonzaga to a wild 79-76 March Madness win over UCLA on Thursday night in the Sweet 16. Meanwhile, in New York, earlier in the night, FAU, that's Florida Atlantic, they played just down the street from my house in Boca Raton, and just their second ever March Madness appearance, moved within one game of the Final Four by using a second-half push led by Michael Forrest to beat fourth-seeded Tennessee 62-55 on Thursday night. The ninth-seeded Owls will play the third-seeded Kansas State in the East Region Final at Madison Square Garden on Saturday. All winter, I considered getting off my fat ass and going down and watching FAU play. I did go watch the football team a couple of times. Tom Herman's coaching them now, and they're playing spring ball this weekend. I didn't go watch the basketball team, and I'm kind of going, dang, nabbit. I should have, but I'm going to have a tough time not being excited about March Madness this weekend. What do they say, the next games are Saturday? That's got me a little more. Am I falling for the hype because it's on television? Should I be more into the CFL Combine? This is more interesting to me.
Yeah, and that's where we are now. You know, you often say how different Canada and the U.S. are, and you know what? We're probably both right. And I look to how similar we are, because I feel like the border doesn't exist anymore, and it's in a different, you know, set of circumstances, meaning we all consume the same pieces of content. We all get access to watch things. And now as a sports fan and as a sports league and team, you're marketing really against those other things. The CFL Combine has to compete with March Madness for eyeballs. And Canadians are watching that and just as interested in it. That's not wrong. You know, you have now, because of television and the storylines and access on the internet and your phones, have more attachment to those teams through watching them in the early games, learning who the players are, a last-second victory, a big upset that bring and create that attachment. So, you know what? You won't be alone, man. And I'm into it. I'm watching. It's incredibly exciting.
Well, this goes on every year. And we talk about it all the time. It's what you just said, fighting for eyeballs. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, he says, it's fun to watch. These guys are specimen. For sure. You look at Serena. She's a nutrition coach, a fitness coach. She's into all this stuff. What guys can lift and girls can lift and squat and all. Great. I don't care. But you do. So you do you. We'll meet up later and have onion rings. Or maybe not. But I'm going to watch what I want to watch. Austin writes in from Glenn Ewan on the 902 line, and he says, what did Carolina do the last time they picked first overall? Pick Cam Newton. Who in this draft reminds you of Cam? Anthony Richardson? History will repeat itself. Here's a guy in Glen Ewan, Saskatchewan, who has thoughts on who will go number one overall in the NFL draft. So that says a lot right there. Point 5. The Toronto Raptors play host to the Detroit Pistons tonight in NBA play. Toronto coming off a 118-114 loss to Indiana on Wednesday. The Raps hold the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference. Good enough for the play-in tournament with 9 games to go in the regular season. Place line, Fort Myers, Florida. Toronto starter Yusei Kikuchi turned in another impressive spring training performance. As the Blue Jays down the Minnesota Twins 3-0, Kikuchi struck out 9 over 5 scoreless innings, scattering 3 hits and allowing 1 walk over his start. He's made a strong case to join Alek Manoah, Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, and newcomer Chris Bassett in an impressive rotation. I got the notification this morning come across my phone from various sports entities that the Blue Jays have named Alek Manoah as their opening day starter. So I'm just going to pass that along. So there's a lot going on this Friday. And I also want to mention, because we have time here in this spot, May 4th. Get ready to sing along to all your favorite REO Speedwagon classic hits. Thursday, May 4th at the Grey Eagle Event Center. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. As you can see, our guy Sheldon, who's the director of entertainment, has been very, very busy booking all these acts. April Cummings, REO Speedwagon, the Eagles Tribute. They got July 28th, my brother's birthday. I've not talked about this yet, but it's I don't know the name of it, but the posters are all over the casino. It's 90s night. And Vanilla Ice is going to be here. I'm just going to put that out there. That will be having a lot of people swoon. Women and some men, I'm sure. So we got a couple of minutes. Those are all the topics that I got through, Moose. And I haven't got yet to the XFL. How about this? We were talking about this before the show. They're not really on my radar, the XFL, but they're going into week 6 this weekend. Are they on yours?
They're still not, although they kind of are. You know, I'm not following things throughout the week. I don't find myself looking at it throughout the week. But you know what? When I'm looking for something to watch or I get a notification on the weekend, last weekend I flipped over to it, and I will probably flip over to it again this weekend and watch. So I think it's starting to get there for me, but really largely not on my radar.
I'll put you down as a no then. Landry writes and he says, even if you aren't a college basketball fan, March Madness is a 3-week event that everyone can tune into and enjoy. Allie in Texarkana says, swoon for Vanilla Ice? LOL. Well, maybe in the 90s. I don't know what you're into. Yeah. Rich in Edmonton says, the excitement of the NCAA tourney blows the CFL combine out of the water, even for this Canadian. Hey, Chevy, he's here. You want to figure out how to turn the speakers on in the next 4 minutes? That would help out a lot. Stairs over there. Yeah. Randy Chevrier has made it. The world is in a good spot. I have more stuff I wanted to get to. I guess you'll have to on the Sutters. I'll say this there. When the world figuratively burns to the ground, as Theo and I have talked about, with the way that we're going, you just wait, because it'll be the old school values of the Sutters that everybody will gravitate to. Old school will be what we get back to. That's what will save the world. We're just not there yet. That's what I think. And thanks again for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, write it down. Okay, have a great weekend. Good job.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
3-time Grey Cup champion, former Dallas Cowboy, Randy Chevrier joins us next here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We'll be back in a moment on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stanko.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, we're live from Great Eagle Resort and Casino. You're having a look at it, Calgary's entertainment destination, the gateway to the foothills, and we're working our way towards a wonderfully beautiful weekend. And I'll tell you what, we will get to the viewer questions in a second. Randy Chevrier is here, and he's with us for a while. What did I say, 11:20? You good with that?
Yeah.
The guy is from Montreal. He played at McGill. Drafted. Whoa, you got it.
Get a little feedback
now
there.
We got the speakers going.
Yeah. Now it's a party.
Just in time.
Yeah, it's a party now.
When you showed up, now it's a party. Drafted by, who drafted you, Jacksonville?
Jacksonville.
7th round of the 2001 NFL draft. Also drafted 2001 of the CFL draft by Edmonton.
Yep.
Yeah. And played with the Jags, Bengals, Cowboys, Jets, and then won 3 Grey Cups with Edmonton, Sask, and Calgary. All combined, 3-time champion, as I mentioned, Tom Pate Memorial Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Randy Chevrier. There we go. How about a big hand, guys? Showed up. We got, well, live audience. Chevy, thanks for coming down.
You know what? Thanks for having me, and thanks for the nice intro. That's it's pretty cool. It's you know, I don't look at my bio often. You know, that's not something you do, but when you hear someone else say it, it's kind of like, oh, that was cool. I did that stuff. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It feels like it was a lifetime ago, even though, you know, I'm still somewhat connected to the game and all those things, and I feel like I can still play. It was a lifetime ago. Like, you talk about draft, and this week is Combine Week, and you kind of get the nostalgia. Once a year, you get the nostalgia of that phase of my life where it was so intensely focused on making my dreams come true. And again, my day-to-day, I don't think of that stuff. I'm not the former NFL or CFL. I'm dad. I'm just a normal dude, right? So appreciate the intro.
And a firefighter too. Right?
Yes.
But the thing is, listen, you put in the work. That's the nice thing that people need to understand in life now. You put in the work, and you can take your foot off the gas somewhere down the line for a little bit. You know, some people don't want to even put the work in. But I will say this, on your Wikipedia, it says 2021 Calgary Stampeders to present. I'm like, this either needs to be updated, or you haven't filed your retirement papers yet.
Well, I've never filed my retirement papers.
Well, that's probably why it said that.
And I guess even that seems a lifetime ago. You know, the signing with the Stampeders, sort of in the middle of that COVID season, or at the end of that COVID season, because they were going to need help if they advanced into the semifinal or the Western Final in the Grey Cup. And that was quite a weird experience. And again, it feels like a lifetime ago. But yeah, I never filed my papers. I could snap a football in October, November if anybody needed me, you know, like,
yeah.
I always say that.
So we got some great stories to get to here with Chevy. And by the way, I appreciate your energy, Chevy. I've told you that before, but I want to say that in front of the camera for everybody, because it's very infectious. I'll get to your hellos and howdies from everybody. Everybody's writing in. And finally, we got everybody in a good mood today. There was some people woke up angry. Why do that? Why do that?
I don't know. I
don't know.
You know what? I wake up, I get angry pretty quick. But that's because I got 3 boys. I'm a single dad. When I have my boys, it's like the image in my mind, if I got a tattoo of what my relationship was with my boys, I used to think my tattoo would be the zodiac symbol of the dragon protecting all the little animals. But the real tattoo that I would get that personifies my relationship with my kids is, remember the old Donald Duck cartoons with the 3 nephews?
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just like a ball of smoke and beaks and feet. That's what I would get as a tattoo to demonstrate my relationship with my kids. And it starts right away, first thing in the morning, like kids throwing stuff at each other. They're teenagers.
Can we look up that ball of smoke? Huey, Louie, and Dewey, I believe, are the nephews
Huey,
of
Louie,
which
and Dewey. And, they start messing around with their Uncle Donald. And then next thing you know, it just escalates in this big cloud of smoke. And that's how my mornings start with my boys. I mean, like I said, 3 boys, teenagers, a lot of testosterone, a lot of jockeying for position. It's like the locker room. You go down for breakfast, and they're fighting for food, they're fighting for clothes, they're fighting for bathroom time. It's nuts.
God bless you, sir.
Yeah.
From Jeff the Stamps fan, he says, Randy Chevrier, a great Calgary Stampeder. So there's that. From Jack Fulton in Vulcan, Alberta, The Ride. Tune in. It's outstanding. From 2 of the finest men I know on and off the field, Chevy and Nasty. For those that don't know, you for many years, seasons, hosted a radio show. It's back.
Yeah, so Sheldon Patrick, who Jack Fulton, and hi Jack. Jack's a great fan of yours, and he's a great fan of CFL, and he's a great supporter of all guys that come through the league. So, so Sheldon and I, Sheldon Patrick, we were teammates and roommates back in 2005 for a few years with the Stamps, and we hosted a show on the Fan 960 here in Calgary. It's called the Chevy and Nasty Show. We did it once a week, and we really enjoyed it. We had so much fun, and actually, we started that show because there was a CBC talent strike at the time, and we would watch the games on the road, but no one was announcing them. So one day I grabbed a banana, I threw one at Sheldon. I said, let's do color and play-by-play for the show. And he thought it was nuts, right? And we're doing this on a Friday night, the night before a game. And anyways, it kind of morphed from there. And then we got an opportunity to get on the air with Rob Kerr, who was at the Fan at the time. And lo and behold, over time, they gave us the keys to a 1-hour show. And we held that for about 6 years. And then we just stopped doing it. Things didn't align. They had to sell it. But for about 10, 12 years now, Sheldon and I, we get together once every 4 or 5 months. And it's like 2 brothers getting together. We don't speak every day. We don't hang out. But when we get together, man, we could go for hours. And we always leave the conversation saying, we should do a show. We got to get it back. And we never do. And it's been about 10 years of that. And this fall, I said, Sheldon, we got to put energy towards something that brings us joy. And whenever we get together, we leave with such a good feeling. We have great conversations. Let's get the show started. So we got the band back together, and the band is him and I. And we're figuring out this podcasting world and the YouTube world. I mean, we look up to guys like you that have started, you started from nothing a couple of years ago. And look at you now. And we thought, you know what? If we do something that brings us joy and we can bring others along for the ride, then great. And that's what we're doing. So we're in what we call season 0, which is figuring out, season 0 mode. Right now we're figuring out, the technical aspects, whether it's the audio, whether it's the internet stuff, and we're going to launch probably at the end of April.
Well, I'll tell you something. Mandy in Edmonton writes in and says, being a dad, best job in the world. She says, from a single mom, you're doing great. Good for you. That's from Mandy. Jeff from the audience says, live from Monty's Crab Shack. I remember it. So people do remember this stuff, and we got less than 30 seconds here, but I'll say you are doing it at a good time with a scarcity of CFL coverage right now because people love it. We'll talk about that and more when we come back. Okay? Yeah. And the Combine's on. It's day 2 in Edmonton. We can talk NFL stuff with the NFL alum here. So it is a Football Friday. Justin Dunk coming up and Brandon Isaac as well in hour 2. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And thank you to everybody for pulling together to get the speakers working here today. How about that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right when you showed up. That's teamwork, man. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
There's a look at Calgary's entertainment destination, the snow melting away, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And before more with Randy Chevrier, a sports update. From this morning, just off the ice, Canada's Carrie Anderson scored a 10-4 decision over Turkey this morning to move one step closer to the playoff round at the Women's World Curling Championship. She improved to 7-4 with the victory and into a third-place tie with Norway. She'll play Denmark later today. And the Toronto Raptors return to the hard court tonight against the Detroit Pistons at Scotiabank Arena. The Raps have lost 2 in a row and sit 9th in the NBA's Eastern Conference. Sports Update is for Landmark Cinemas. Sign up now for Landmark Extras and see what's playing at landmarkcinemas.com, like Scream 6. Ooh, Chevy, I went to it the other night. Very scary.
Yeah.
Slasher flick.
I don't like the scary movies. I go to superhero movies. You know, we talked about my kids.
Yes.
I went to watch Shazam the other night.
How was that?
It got blasted by the critics, but I love the superhero movies. I love the Shazam stories. He's a like superhero type figure, but he's like just a kid.
So you would endorse it?
Oh, I totally endorse it. It's fun, easy, good to watch.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, the Scream was kind of scary. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
As a 50-year-old man, I was a little scared. So they're all, just go to the theaters, Landmark Cinemas. And with that Landmark Extras pass, it's free refills on your large pop and large popcorn.
I'm going to let you know, Rod, I have one of those.
You have a membership?
I have 4 of those. I have one for me and 3 for my kids, and we go and we watch a movie once a month. It's the Christmas gift that keeps giving every month.
Be like Chevy. Be like Chevy.
It's great.
Kevin the Medium's watching in Airdrie. Thank you, Kevin. And he says, Chevy and Nasty show was amazing. Well, it's back, as we talked about earlier, and it's at a good time. So with the Combine, you're telling me you went through the Combine?
Yeah, I went through the CFL Combine, and it was great. It was in Montreal, which was my hometown, and it was actually a neat thing. At the time, the CAS at the time, or CIAU, when I played, they didn't have an all-star game. There was no East-West Bowl like they have now. The development of the athlete wasn't to what it is now. And so that was the first opportunity to really meet players of the same mindset, all very hyper-focused, driven, all chasing something. And it was a really neat environment to be in. I remember when I went to the Combine, I hung out with Angus Reid, who wound up, an illustrious career with the BC Lions, and that's
very special guy.
Oh, he's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You go to this Combine, and it was just like an amazing experience. And you get to meet the athletes that are very like-minded. You get to meet the CFL coaches. I remember sitting at a table with Adam Rita back in the day. He was with the BC Lions, and met Greg Marshall for the first time, who wound up him and Tom Higgins and Don Matthews were sort of the guys that endorsed me for being selected by Edmonton. But it was such a neat experience because all my training, all my prep had led to trying to perform well in that moment. And I had a great Combine. I remember it was really awesome.
We'll talk more about that coming back next hour. Craig Smith, our director of scouting, says, I remember seeing Randy in Barcelona's camp in Florida. Nelson says the CFL has such a unique thing with their Combine because it is the only football Combine where the players actually put on pads and they keep it in the dark. I think that's new this year. I ran into one of the coaches, Mark Killam, the other night in Canmore, and his eyes just glazed over. He's like, we're going to do inside run. Yeah. He couldn't believe it. They should be banging at these things.
We did one-on-ones. We did all the typical Combine drills, the bench press 40.
Not pads, though.
We did one-on-ones. We did one-on-ones. So the O-line, D-line did one-on-ones, and receivers, DBs, linebackers, running backs, they did their one-on-ones, their skelly type one-on-ones. But yeah, it was an intense battle. I went against some big names back then, and I had a blast. It was fun. I think I still have the video cassette of my Combine.
We only have a minute, but I guess just recap this, that it's a good time to getting back to the Chevy and Nasty show because there's not a lot of coverage of the CFL, particularly in this town. It's a fact. So why not do it?
Why not? And to be truthful, we're not just sports. Like we kind of want to take it to a little higher level. We want to talk sports. We want to bring on sports people. We want to talk about life. We just had Keon Raymond on last week, and that episode just dropped yesterday. And we talk about his career, but also the challenges of coming out of the career and the things he's doing now and how he's contributed to the community. And, just being an American in Canada, and now his son is going to Canadian University. It's kind of a weird role reversal. So we talk about all kinds of different things, and really that's why we call it The Ride with Chevy and Nasty, because we never know where it's going to go, but we're taking you on a ride.
I like it. Sheldon Napastek and Randy Chevy of the Chevy and Nasty, The Ride. Next hour, a little more into the football discussion, i.e. who's going to go number one in the NFL draft. Why not some good NFL stories? Those are always fun. Justin Dunk's going to be with us, and Brandon Isaac. I know you got stories about him too.
Yeah.
So stick around, everybody, after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Now,
I say it every day with the people that I'm around. It's not that people are dumb, maybe ignorant. Ignorant means unaware of how things work. We've really realized this in the last 6 months about a lot of things.
How about that?
I'm not criticizing you. I've just never met anybody like that before. Everybody in my circle likes a little bit of everything, or a lot of everything. But that's the whole idea of diversifying, right? Variety is the spice of life.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is, and I knew it was going to be a fantastic Friday right from the jump, and we had a little bit of a bumpy takeoff, but now we're cruising. We're cruising, baby, at about 30,000 feet as we welcome in Randy Chevrier here on this Football Friday. And welcome if you've just tuned in on Game Plus Television, maybe you've just tuned in on the podcast, or however you're listening to us. WQEE Atlanta, your southern home for sports and talk on 99.1 FM down there. We got a former Dallas Cowboy here, Jacksonville Jaguar, Bengal Jet, Stamp, Rough Rider, Eskimo. Yep. Who am I missing? That's it? That's everybody?
I think that's it.
All right. So on this week of the Canadian Football League Combine, Pro Days in the NFL, the NFL Draft's coming up April 27th, and that might be a good spot to say, update the poll today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies. Who will go #1 overall in the NFL Draft? Alabama's Bryce Young or OSU's C.J. Stroud? Last I looked, 50-50 split right down the middle. So before we jump into the CFL talk, three-time Grey Cup champion here, do you have an opinion, Chevy, as a guy that's been drafted in the National Football League, as who will go #1 overall?
I don't have an opinion. I think I have an opinion about the draft system.
Yeah. I hear that. I sense a story.
No, I just think the draft oftentimes rewards the mediocre teams and maybe even the less than mediocre. And I don't mean how they perform on the field. I mean organizationally. And oftentimes, you see a #1 pick go to a team and he turns out to be a bust. But maybe he was never developed. And you see that repeated over time with certain organizations, right? And, I mean, look at the New York Jets. They've gone through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And, everyone that's gone through their system has appeared to be a bust. But yet, when you look at, I guess, the success Geno Smith had this year in Seattle, you think, well, was it Geno or was it New York? And I find the draft oftentimes, it rewards those teams that are bottom feeders and not just on the field. Because the difference in the talent level between the best team in the NFL and the worst team is very little. So where the differences manifest sometimes is in the year-to-year success and the systems and the environment. And so I don't like that system because oftentimes you're putting so much pressure on a kid coming out of college, whether he was a high performer in college or not, whether he had that same weight on his shoulders in college or not, whether you're going to Alabama or OSU, whatever. You get to the NFL, it's a different beast. And all of a sudden, this kid, whoever gets picked, is supposed to save a franchise from their own mediocrity. That's not fair. It's not fair pressure to put on it. And I don't know what the solution is, but I do have that opinion of the draft system.
It's a good one. And let me just drop anchor for a second from the audience. People are picking. Chevy was asking us because he's been on a few times. He's like, is your show growing? How's it going? From Normal, Illinois. That's a town. I've never heard of it.
It's quite a typical town, I bet.
Normal. It's probably normal. I got you. David Hastings is his name. He says, first-time listener. You rock, dude. You're getting a spot on my calendar. Boom, boom, tiss. Text anytime, he says. David in Normal, Illinois. Larry Sweet is his name in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He writes in and he says, Rod, tell Randy Chris Sweet's father said hello.
No way. That's amazing. You know what?
I know.
Chris Sweet, one of my favorite people.
Isn't he something?
One of my favorite people.
I didn't like him at first.
No, you know what? I was going to say nobody liked him, but that's not fair. In the locker,
he's intense.
He was intense. When he got to Calgary, intense. I was playing on the defensive line.
Right.
And he was really intense, and he had that reputation as a yeller and a screamer. And, if you don't sit in the locker room, in the meeting room, you don't know what type of guy he is. And, again, he was young and excited. And then I switched to O-line, and I got to be in the locker room with him. And I realized this man cares. Not only did he care about the game, he cares about his players, and he cares about doing things right.
He's a champion.
And Chris and I have become pretty good friends. He actually helped me out. I had a cancer scare a few years back, a tumor in my neck. And Chris had gone through something like that. Yep. And he was someone that I called often to talk about what I was going through, what I might be facing. I mean, there was a lot of fear associated with that. A doctor gives you this kind of prognosis/diagnosis that's you don't know what it's going to be. And, uncertainty, fear, what am I going to go through?
And he helped you.
He helped me a ton. And I was so happy to see him back in the CFL last year, win another Grey Cup. Man, that's so amazing. Chris and Mr. Sweet listening from...
This is his dad, Larry.
Larry, North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That was a hard one, but I think I got it. Thanks so much. It's
North
awesome.
Myrtle, good memory, Chevy. You didn't knock. There's not too much going on up there. Too much damage.
There's not too much going on up there.
Now we're rolling. And I said to Chevy, this goes by so fast.
It does.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Tell me a Dallas Cowboys story, would you please? My team, America's team.
Dallas Cowboys. Okay, so this is my Dallas Cowboys story. This is how I got introduced to the Dallas Cowboys and my teammates. I was with the Jacksonville Jaguars in preseason. It was game 4 preseason. We played on a Thursday night in the rain in Dallas. I snapped really well in that game. The Cowboys snapper didn't snap super well. Fly home Thursday night after the game. A bunch of us got cut on Sunday by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I fly home to Montreal with a huge duffel bag, do all my laundry. By the next day on Monday, I'm getting a call by my agent. It's like, you're going to Dallas. They want to try you out and see what you got. So I was like, okay. So I fly in Monday night. Tuesday is the day off. Tuesday is always day off in the NFL calendar. I fly in Monday night, and in the morning they say, bring your suit. I was like, okay. So I grab my suit. I go to a big Escalade. I remember, I'll never forget the Escalade because the leather smelled so good. And
NFL leather, baby.
Never been in an Escalade before. So I jump in the Escalade. The guy drives me to the Cowboys facility. It was like monsoon force, hurricane, rain and winds. And like, well, we're not going to work you out outside. We're gonna work you out in the locker room. So the coach basically taped down, like took a piece of tape, athletic tape, put it down one spot in the locker room, marched off 15 yards in the other spot of the locker room. He called the other long snapper in. We each snapped 5 punt balls and 5 field goals. And then he told the other guy, he said, grab your playbook, go to the coach's office.
You're done.
Next thing you know, he says, Chev, put your suit on. So I go, okay. So I put my suit on. I get back in the Escalade. They rip me downtown, and they rush me to the back of a hotel. Now, you know how a hotel is. It looks very nice in the front and kind of
not so nice in the
back. So they're bring me through this back way. Next thing you know, we're in the back kitchen, and they shove me in line between these 2 humongous dudes. And these guys are like, yo, who's this? And these are my teammates. And next thing you know, like about 2 minutes later, I'm being announced to come out of the curtains into this huge banquet hall with all the Dallas Cowboys sponsors, season ticket holders, and they put me on a chair. And that was like my introduction to the Dallas Cowboys.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Where's Jarrah in all of this?
Jerry was around. Jerry was awesome. Jerry was really neat to me. I got released, which was really tough. I got released halfway through the season. In fact, you mentioned Atlanta. To all your listeners in Atlanta, that was my last game with the Cowboys. We played back in Atlanta against Michael Vick. It was. I mean, geez, when I look back, it's like, man, I got to play on the field with Michael Vick. But that was my last game in Dallas. I got released 2 days later on a Tuesday, the day off. And it was tough. We weren't winning that year. We had a lot of special teams blunders and mishaps. And being released was tough. But the cool thing is this, 2 cool things about Jerry. Everyone's got a story, but this is my story. Right after that game in Atlanta, there was a lot going on in the background that I don't want to get to, but the media was asking him, what's going on? We had a field goal blocked. Our kicker got hurt. They were saying maybe it's a snapper. And he was like, Chevy is a Cowboy. I see him work. He's a Cowboy, right? So I was like, oh, this is great. But I got cut 2 days later. 3 weeks passed, and Jerry Jones called me personally. And he said, Chevy, he's like, the ship is sinking. And he's like, I had to side with my coaches. He's like, I really like you. To me, you're a Cowboy. He's like, I've cut many guys that I've brought back. He's like, just keep doing your thing, and you never know where our paths will cross. So I was like, wow, that was really nice of him. I mean, I've been cut a number of times. You listed all the teams I've been with. It wasn't with a handshake and a smile that I left. It was like, here's your garbage bag with all your stuff. The bus is coming. And I'd never been called. I'd never been followed up on by someone. But Jerry Jones followed up on me 3 weeks after I had been released. The coaches wanted to make a decision, and that was their decision. He had to stick with his coaches. I get it. The neat thing is this. I played my 2 years. I went to Barcelona, as you mentioned. I played 2 years in Edmonton after that. Won my first Grey Cup. Went back to New York with the Jets. Tried my hand there. Didn't stick around. When I wound up signing with Calgary, I signed in January. I drove up to Calgary in February 2005. I had just settled in. Probably got here maybe for a week. And Jerry Jones called my parents. He wanted to bring me back. And I spoke to him on the phone. He's like, Chevy, he's like, I finally got rid of the last coach that didn't want you around back then. He's like, I'd like to bring you back. But by that time, I had already signed here. And I'd already signed here, and I was excited to be here. And I kind of closed the book on the NFL career. But gosh, that was just like, I spent the whole year waiting for an NFL shot. I signed with the stamps, and then I get the call.
Who answered the phone, your mom or dad?
I believe it was my dad.
This is Jared Jones. I can just imagine.
Yeah.
What's your dad say about that?
Oh, my dad was a very proud guy. He probably tried to chat Jerry's ear off. If you know where I got it from my dad. He talked more than me.
Right?
Oh yeah, but they relayed the message, and I called them back, and yeah, we had a nice conversation, and it was a neat full circle moment for me because, I mean, you've spoken to thousands and thousands of athletes. After they get cut, it's everyone else's fault. The story's always the same. It's like the guys in prison.
Oh, yeah.
They're all innocent, right? And, I have this story, and it's pretty deep, and, but again, I know it's exactly what happened. And to have him call me back, it was a full circle moment that even though all the shame I felt being cut midway through the season, the embarrassment, I mean, you get, like, how many people lose their job and millions of people know about it and ask you about it, right? And so that was tough, but him calling me back in 2005, although it didn't make me any richer and I wasn't back with the Cowboys, it sure as heck did stuff for my mental health.
Mentally, yeah.
Mentally, and my conviction of who I was and how I did things. So it was neat.
You know, there's very little of what I miss about the day-to-day. I like this better, and we've discussed that. But what I do miss is this. I don't know who's the best long snapper in CFL history. You'd be up there. Steve Glenn, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? So we got him in Sask. And I can't remember who our long snapper was before, but everybody was like, ooh, you got to see this guy, Steve Glenn. And he'd come from Ottawa. He'd been playing in Ottawa.
Another firefighter, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Where?
In Ottawa.
Yeah. So McCallum is our punter. And Steve Glenn says to him, how do you want it, laces in or out? And Paul was like, what do you mean? He goes, so how do you want the snap? I can put the laces either way. We'd never heard of that before.
Yeah.
This guy was beyond specialist. I don't know if he was ahead of his time. You can probably do that now, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny when
I'll just say this. We went to Montreal playoff game that year, 05, and he fires one over Paul's head.
Yeah, well, I've never done that. So
just pressure or whatever, but you're going to say something about
No, I was going to say I have that experience. I remember when I signed with the Riders when we first met in, what was it, 2016. And I remember I was working, and I flew in the night before. I think I got in at 2 a.m. I had to go to medicals that morning, and it was day 4. It was walkthrough practice. We didn't even have a chance to practice. And the team had already finished their walkthrough. And I know Coach Jones said, hey, I want to see what you could do. Like, we just signed you. And I walk onto the field, and it was Josh Bartel was there. He was a holder. Tyler Carpinga was there. And it's like the whole stadium just got quiet. All the media guys, like all the day 4, everyone stopped.
Here's this guy, this vaunted.
Everyone stopped. I remember, and all the scouts were there. Jones had a lot of coaches there that year.
I was there.
Yeah, and everyone, I could just feel everyone looking to see if this guy still got it. I remember that first snap was a foop, and the laces were out. Josh puts it down, and everyone's like, okay, we got it.
He's got it, yeah. Well, what's the secret to that?
You know what? Gosh, it's all in my head now. The muscle memory is there. I went to New York Jets in 2004. We had an all-star kicker and a long snapper that had been there for like 10 years. And I thought, Rod, that at some point in my career, I'd be able to long snap, come back, sit down, drink Gatorade until I was called again. But I wasn't there. I was nervous as heck every time I snapped the ball. I mean, I was a defensive tackle. That's what I wanted to be coming out of college. Long snapping was a thing I did. And I thought that if I was going to do that as a career, I'd get to a point where I was okay with my job. But I was a bag of nerves. I'd snap 1,000,000 balls the week before. I'd snap in the game. Like, I just couldn't control those nerves. So I go to New York, and we had a special teams coach. What was his name? Mike Westhoff. He was the assistant head coach, and at any point in the practice, he could call for a field goal or a punt. And everyone just had to rush on and be ready. And because of that, I watched the long snapper and the kicker were bags of nerves, like just pacing up and down, like they could just not control themselves. And I was like, wow, here are guys that have the job. I was just there to be an insurance policy in case the long snapper got hurt. And I watched these guys pace and nerves. And I was like, man, you never lose that feeling. You never lose that feeling. And I could snap 1,000,000 perfect balls the week before a practice, and that 3 to 10 seconds before I have to go on, I'll be nervous as hell.
Of course.
And from that moment on, I never warmed up. I never practiced. I could go snap in a game right now, and I haven't practiced in a year. Because it's muscle memory, and as long as I'm physically fit to mechanically execute that skill, it's all up here. And from that moment on, I learned that it doesn't matter. And my whole head case dropped right after that, and I knew I could snap for 100 years after that. And
you did.
And that's why I was able to do it.
Chevy, on that, we got to let you go, but a quick plug in 10 seconds or less for your show where people can listen to it.
So people can find us at Chevy and Nasty on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We've got a YouTube page, and pretty soon we're going to be on all the Spotify and all that. But just,
Good
look
work.
for that.
All right, man. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
Stay close.
Thanks to all listeners.
3-time Grey Cup champion Randy Chevrier. We're going to the CFL Combine next with Justin Dunk. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902 518 3033 902 Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, welcome back. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the place to be. And don't miss comedian, actress, producer, and podcaster Whitney Cummings live at the Grey Eagle Event Center Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. Whitney Cummings coming here. All right, you don't want to miss Justin Dunk. He is the man when it comes to CFL coverage, and he joins us today covering the CFL Combine for 3downnation.com. JD, welcome to the program today. It's what, day 2 officially of the Combine? What's the report so far from your perspective?
I suppose officially, I've been here well before it got started. 3 Down Nation is set up. I'm coming to you live from the 3 Down Nation headquarters in downtown Edmonton. There's been a lot of buzz around the CFL Combine. Of course, the major news coming out, Roddy, was Kean Schaefer-Baker undergoing hip surgery. It was a labral tear, according to Jeremy O'Day. That's what he told me in an exclusive story. So he's going to miss the first part of the season, but his rehab process will determine how many actual games that is. And aside from that, I was able to sit down one-on-one with Edmonton Elks President Victor Cui, and let me tell you, what an unbelievable individual that we have running the Green and Gold organization. That will be coming out on 3downnation.com very soon in video, podcast, and written form. And also I spoke to the commissioner, Randy Ambrosi, about their renewed efforts, let's call them, to get a team in Atlantic Canada, and all kinds of content on 3downnation.com.
I got to tell you what. If anybody didn't have the energy today, Randy Chevrier, it's just exuding off him. He just left. And now you're bumping with the CFL Combine. So let's just back up the truck for a second. Kean Schaefer-Baker, good friend of yours, Guelph Griffin. He went on the NFL tour of workouts this offseason, did not get signed, but he is a player now, right? And I would think a very big part of what the Rough Riders had planned to do to kick off this 2023 season at the wideout position. How big of a blow is this that KSB, as he's affectionately known at Canada's football shrine, won't be starting the season?
It's definitely a blow to the Riders' offense to start the season, but as the saying goes, and I don't necessarily agree with it, the season doesn't get going until Labor Day. And ideally, if the Riders have Kean Schaefer-Baker healthy for the stretch run or most of the regular season, that's what they're looking at here. He was dealing with this hip injury for a couple of years, and last year, Roddy, it got bad enough to the point where he was struggling to get through practice at the end of the season. And we're talking about a season in which KSB almost had 1,000 receiving yards. So he was the second most productive Canadian in the CFL, next to Curly Gittens Jr., who was a CFL All-Star. And I believe Kean Schaefer-Baker has that CFL All-Star type of upside if he can come back healthy. And I think that's what the Riders are looking at here. He's in Regina. He had the surgery there. He's doing his rehab with the Rough Riders personnel people, and he's in the building. So I think that should help his process. And I think what everyone who was putting their input into making this decision was thinking is that it would be better, for a healthy Kean Schaefer-Baker than for him to continue playing on this labral tear, which was really painful for him, especially at the end of last season.
I'll tell you what, I don't think it's as catastrophic as some people are making it out to be, in that he's not the first star player to miss the start of a season. I think he's all that. But if he's back, I'm with all of you with that. That's the most important thing. His health is the number one thing. I don't know where to go from here, man. You dropped a lot of things. You came out guns a-blazing. Everybody likes to talk about the Atlantic Schooners situation. I mean, my guy Gary Drummond has said he's out. He was the guy leading Schooners Sports and Entertainment. So if it's not him, who's going to own this franchise in Halifax?
That's the key question now for Randy Ambrosie in the CFL. And Ambrosie said for his part that talks are on hold with Schooner Sports and Entertainment, and they're looking for a local ownership group. So they want to put together a package here with their new investment bank partner. I think that was really critical for them to help sell the Alouettes quickly. And I think this investment banking partner can help at least potentially get people intrigued in owning a franchise out in Atlantic Canada. So Ambrosie realizes that there are two major parts of this process now. They have to get an ownership group together, and they have to keep the momentum going on the stadium. It sounds like there have been some positive talks with Mayor Mike Savage there in terms of a temporary permanent stadium. And from what I'm told, there were meetings out there recently with CFL people out there talking to people at St. Mary's University for that to potentially come to fruition. So there's certainly positive momentum on that front, but now we've got to get an ownership group together. And you know, I'm not going to say that the CFL could potentially pull another rabbit out of the hat like they did with Pierre-Karl Pelado, but you look at the CFL landscape in terms of ownership right now, Roddy, and you could make an argument that it's at the strongest place that it's ever been league-wide. Yes, some of the teams are community-owned, but they're doing fairly well, especially coming out of the pandemic. You got the big boys like MLSE or, you know, who own the Calgary Stampeders, CSEC as well. So you look at those groups plus the individual owners. Pierre-Karl Pelado is a Canadian billionaire. Amar Doman is probably close to being a billionaire. Bob Young has done very well for himself in the hundreds of millions of dollar range. So the league overall is in a great place for ownership. So that makes it appealing for potential parties to want to join it from the Atlantic perspective.
I'm going to get into a football-wise question here with the Combine in a second, but I'm with you on all that, and the CFL would be very happy with you pumping their tires on that vein. But the fact is, They got to sell tickets, and they got to get ratings. The profile of the league is struggling. That is a fact. And the CFL is getting hammered on for not streaming the Combine, and I don't know the answer as to why they're not. They habitually have. I was hoping to find that out on Saturday when I go up to Commonwealth, but do you know the answer why CFL fans can't watch the Combine if they'd like to streaming?
Yeah, I'll give you the reasoning. First of all, it's a longer format of a combine, right? It used to be essentially testing on a couple of days, and they come and do their medicals and interviews, and then there was one day of actual on-field activity. But this year they're looking at it more like the approach of a Senior Bowl for the uninitiated out there, which is the major NCAA senior all-star game that goes on in the States to get the draft process started in the NFL. So there's actually going to be practices going on. There's installation. CFL coaches are going to literally get these hands on these prospects and put in some basic stuff so they can see them in one-on-one situations and real football situations. They're going to do a bunch of practicing, and they're actually going to have a full team practice. So best on Sunday, Roddy. You'll be able to see it when you get here to Edmonton. So that's part of the reason why the CFL decided not to live stream it, is because there's a lot of resources that go into it too, right? When we talk about live streaming, especially the quality that the CFL has done in the past, it's essentially like a TV broadcast. You have to have all of the graphics ready. You got to be ready with all of your keys for all of the players, and you got to be able to talk for that long. And there are some dead periods. And for example, during the testing on Thursday, there was about an hour and a half lag time in the morning. That didn't really have to do with anything in particular. It's just the way that everything went. So I think the CFL wanted to see what it was going to look like in terms of this new longer event, and then potentially look at in the future if they're going to live stream it. I know it disappointed a lot of people, but when you actually reason it out, it makes sense. And hey, if you want all the good, you know where to come. 3downnation.com.
Well, I know that. I guess it doesn't hurt to remind our viewers and listeners of that. Pause on that. John in Winnipeg. John Ohm, big CFL fan. He says, is the Atlantic CFL talk a diversion by Ambrosie, the commissioner, of the real woes of the league? Is there any chance that that's a fact?
I thought it was for a little bit, and I had some people around the league point to that as being a possibility, but I think what Ambrosie is saying is real. Now, I've questioned his realness in the past, but I think in this instance, he said to me multiple times, it's time to stop talking about it and to actually do it. So I think he is about that action, and Ambrosie necessarily won't come out and say, but I think he realizes that this is a major part of his potential legacy as a commissioner in the CFL. If he is the one to get a franchise out there on the East Coast, regardless of what happens, just even to get it up and running, I think he will be revered as a commissioner for that fact. We know that he has had some blunders in the past, but he also navigated the league through a difficult time during the COVID pandemic. So I think we need to balance it out with the positives and potentially the criticism with Randy Ambrosie. But that's why I think he is about that action and really wants to push to get a franchise on the East Coast.
I like him, and I get stomped on by my guys for that. But he's a commissioner. Not everybody's going to like him. He's been good to me. I think the XFL talk was a big diversion, however. Shame on me for falling for that one. But where are you on week 6 of the XFL, Justin? Where are you? Are you following it?
I haven't followed it very much. I've been keeping my ear to the ground in the CFL, as you know, Roddy. What I did notice was the ratings go down when NCAA March Madness started, and I think that was always the major question with the XFL. Could it have staying power? Now, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out, but it seems to me that they're still going to have to prove that. And you talk to guys around the CFL Combine, head coaches and GM types and scouts and personnel men and executives, and they'll say that the XFL and the USFL could actually be a benefit to the league from the standpoint of pushing it to be competitive in many aspects, but they ultimately have to prove that they can stay around, and that question has yet to be answered. And if anything, it's been answered before, because the XFL has been dead twice already, same as the USFL.
The poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is who goes number 1 overall in the NFL draft, C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young? You're the Carolina Panthers. Who are you taking?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I understand all the hype around those guys, and if I had to pick one over the other, it's probably C.J. Stroud, but I'm really intrigued by Anthony Richardson, the quarterback out of the University of Florida. This guy's measurables at the Combine were Cam Newton-like. Now, I'm not saying he can be Cam Newton and be an MVP in the NFL, but you look at his trades, and if he can get a little bit of time to develop, like let's say he went to the Seattle Seahawks, for example, and of course that's not directly related to your poll question, but he would have some time to learn behind Geno Smith, and all those tools got to make scouts drool, man. So if I have the number 1 pick, I'm leaning towards C.J. Stroud for the way he was able to dice up that Georgia defense and put Ohio State on his back, but we're really just picking between 2 elite quarterbacks, so I think of a chance to be good in the NFL.
It's funny. Nick Saban says that Bryce Young's the best player in the draft, and we're like, oh, well, of course. What is he supposed to say? But speaking of all that, in 60 seconds or less, I'm sure you're right down there at the bench press. Has there been a moment at the Combines with those testing that they did on Thursday where everybody was like, whoa, like some huge bench press reps or broad jump or something? Was there anybody that you had that moment?
There was nothing wild like that this year. I mean, Gabriel Apiakubi out of York University ran in the 4.4s, the only prospect at the Combine to do so. But I'll tell you, one guy close to home for probably a bunch of viewers and listeners that stood out to me is Jackson Ford, the University of Regina Rams defensive back, the grandson of former Rough Riders general manager Al Ford. He has put down some very solid testing numbers, and when you turn on the tape with this guy, and I've called a bunch of his games live on the Canada West Football Showcase with your and my colleague Darren DuPont, Ford flies around. He was truly the quarterback of that secondary and arguably the defense there, but they did have Ryder Varga, who's very dynamic. So Ford has stood out to me. I think he's going to rise as this process goes along. Lay down those great testing numbers, as I said. I have no doubt that he will impress teams during the interview process and throughout the weekend on the field at the CFL Combine.
He was raised in the game. He's a good one. JD, I'll see you tomorrow, man. Thanks for the time.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, the great Justin Dunk. That is your number 1 source for all Canadian Football League coverage right there, 3downnation.com. We're going to keep the train rolling. Edmonton Elks defensive backs coach Brandon Isaac joins us next from the aforementioned CFL Combine. We are live on this Football Friday on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
It's March, it's madness. Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're coming at you live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Big CFL fan right in your gateway to the foothills. Well, it is a football Friday. That's what we call it here on Game Plus Television. And you listeners on WQEE Atlanta, perk up. We got a product of Blackville, South Carolina, played at South Carolina. Brandon Isaac joining us from the Edmonton Elks, live from the CFL Combine. There he is, B.I. Brandon, what's going where on, was it that hey, good to see you. Where did I just see you? We ran into each other. Was it way back last season? Where was that? Yeah. You remember?
Yeah, it was last season.
Okay, must have been at the Westin here in downtown Calgary. Then that's what it was. Can you give me, B.I., your assessment of how this CFL Combine has gone down the past couple of days, and you guys in your house?
It's been really intriguing. A lot of moving parts, a lot of meeting and trying to establish the direction that we're going in as far as selecting people and trying to meet with individuals that we like. For myself, I've been meeting with coaches because I am the DB coach this week. So it's been a lot of work, but at the same time, it's been fun. It's because football's been gone since like forever, but now we're back into the nuance, trying to figure out the best solutions moving forward for our organization.
Well, it should be fun. I'm glad to hear you say that. Now, for those that don't know, these are Canadians and global players that are participating in this combine. You've been around this league for a long time, B.I. How would you say the level of competition, the level of play, and level of athletes are in this particular combine?
Well, I've been really looking at the DBs because I've been working with them and I'm a DB coach. So I like the group. The group has some really nice individuals with some really good skill sets that can come into the CFL and contribute. As far as the other parts, I haven't really seen much because we did really well so far was 40s, bench press and things of that nature, but guys put up pretty decent numbers. So we're like I said, intrigued to see how they move in drills and compete against one another this afternoon.
I talked to some Stampeders coaches that are very excited about the changes to the combine this year in terms of, I guess you guys are going 12 on 12 in pads. Can you talk about that? It's going to ramp up this weekend. How much are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to that aspect because this morning we met with the DBs, with the groups, the position of groups, and gave them information, and we walked through it after we met. So it's intriguing to see how they take the information from the classroom and apply it on the field. That kind of gives you a great indicator of like what type of football player you have, because numbers are great, the measurements are awesome, but at the same time, do they relate to how the skill sets in which we're looking for to help our organization win football games?
Hey, and when you say that, and trust me, I get it, and your boss, Chris Jones, is really big on this. If you can't absorb a playbook and pick up what we're asking you to do, you're cut. You're not even coming to training camp. Do these players realize that, or are they just figuring it out here at the Combine for the first time, that it's not all about physical attributes?
Well, I don't think I can speak for the whole group, but I can say majority of them seem in tune to understanding it's an interview. When I talk to them, I try to speak on that as much as possible to let them know this is not a trip where a vacation where you're having fun, because everything is being evaluated. You got people at the hotel walking around noticing when you're in and out, going in the streets. You got people noticing when you come in and make the meetings late. So I just try to push them. I just want to make sure that they give their best shot and allow themselves not to be judged in a way that's going to harm their draft stock.
Oh, good for you, man. You are in such a right role. And for our viewers, by the way, and listeners, talking with Brandon Isaac from Blackfield, South Carolina. He played pro with the Spokane Shock, Manchester Wolves, Milwaukee Iron, and then came to the Canadian Football League in 2010. Calgary Stampeders for 2 seasons, the Argos for 2 in Toronto, where he won a Grey Cup, Hamilton Tiger Cats in 2013, Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2014. That's where we met. And then back with the Argos for 2 seasons, and then you started your coaching career, and that's where we really got to know each other with Sask. And I just want to say, B.I., it's been fun following your ride up, because you literally started at the bottom, and you're climbing. How does that feel, man? It's no different really than the players.
You got, if you really love your job, you understand it's a process. Of course, I would want to always get the head coaching job and say, "Hey, I made it," but I understand that that's how you kind of weed yourself out, like people weed themselves out. I just want a foot in the door. I was given a foot in the door as a quality control guy, and I continued to bust my tail for Chris, and the opportunity came, and he appreciated what I have done for him and gave me an opportunity to come back. I was in high school coaching high school football, and he reached out and we talked, and now I'm back in the CFL where I'm familiar with. Like I play here. I made a lot of my friends, good buddies. And I cherish this opportunity to be here. So it's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to the future and the things that it's going to bring as well.
Oh yeah, and hopefully a lot more winning in Edmonton. But you would have gotten to know Jones. You played for him in Calgary, and then the Argos. And I think people need to realize that Jones obviously saw something in you that thought that you would be a tremendous coach one day, and now you're part of this staff trying to turn things around in Edmonton, and you are getting better. My next question to you would be, and maybe last question, how much better are you going to be, B.I.? Like, there's a lot of pressure in that market on that football team. None more than what you guys are going to put on yourselves. But what's the outlook for 2023 for the Edmonton Elks?
I really believe the sky's the limit. On paper, we're a really, really good football team. But we have to go out and be able to display that, and that just continue to take one day at a time, get better. Chris has done a phenomenal job of laying the groundwork, leading us and showing us the direction that we're going in, and we're following, and we're doing our part. We're working hard, and we're building the culture that we want. We got some really good football players coming in, and we're excited to get our hands on them and make sure that when the season starts, it's fun, and when people talk about us, it's with a lot of respect and admiration of what we are accomplishing and doing. So we're very excited. We know it's work, but at the same time, this is what you signed up for. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah, and I also know, because I saw you guys from the inside last year, you won't stand for losing. Like Ed Gainey, I know well. He's a winner now. He's a champ, and it didn't sit well last year. I think people need to know that. You guys are coming back with a fire in your belly.
Absolutely. That was horrible in the way we the season was. There's no other ways around it. But within the mess, there was some jewels. We found some really good football players. We're finding our identity and which way we want to go. And we are busting our tails right now to make sure that we find the pieces in this draft to point us in a direction of success. And so, like I said earlier, we look forward to the opportunity. We're going to give it our best shot. And hopefully that's us, playing in the playoffs, and everybody's saying what a great job we have done as a staff and as an organization to be a winning football team.
I know you are, and I see it, and it's a heck of a lot of fun to watch from where I'm watching from. And for those fans in Edmonton, you're going to want to be on board to see this turnaround because it's happening. B.I., always good. Tell Jones, please, I said hey, and I'll see you guys up there tomorrow.
All right, my man. You enjoy.
All right, Brandon Isaac, the great B.I., Edmonton Elks defensive back coach. We'll be right back with overtime, and because it is a football Friday, we'll take your questions and comments. If it is a football-related theme, they'll get priority. We'll be right back to Grey Eagle Resort and Casino after this timeout on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, iHeartRadio, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
The studio, as always, is the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. And let's see what we got. We talked about Whitney Cummings, April 25th. You can get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.ca. And if you love the timeless music of the Eagles, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute. Thursday, April 27th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. And quite frankly, I'm really looking forward to singing along with all our favorite hits from REO Speedwagon. Thursday, May 4th. Right here at Grey Eagle Event Center. And those tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. This show, today, it started out a little bumpy. We had the people show up live to watch our guests. And when they showed up, our guests, that is, we finally got the speakers rolling. And everybody had a real good time. As a matter of fact, where Sean Kay is watching on Game Plus Television in Vancouver, and he writes in on the 902 line. He says, absolutely great show and guests today, Rod. Have a great weekend, everyone. That is from Sean in Vancouver. And that's the thing on these Football Fridays. In the offseason, they're special because you kind of get the guys out of their grind environment and a little more real. And you learned a little bit about Brandon Isaac right there. Very, very sharp guy. And Randy Chevrier and his Dallas Cowboys stories today. Are you kidding me? How great were those? There she is. Howdy. No Theo today. This is the nice gal that changed her schedule to see Theo Fleury. So, yeah, it's turning out into a real nice thing here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. It's not only a live show in front of a live audience, but we're also on national television, local radio, and it's good. It's good. A sports update on this Friday. The Toronto Raptors play host to the Detroit Pistons tonight in NBA play. Raps coming off a 118-114 loss to Indiana on Wednesday, snapping their 7-game home win streak. The Raptors hold the 9th spot in the Eastern Conference, good enough for the play-in tournament with 9 games left in the regular season. For our audience in Atlanta, the Hawks are off tonight. It's a quiet night in the National Hockey League. Only 3 games on the docket. No Canadian teams in action. The New Jersey Devils heading to Buffalo. The Islanders pay a visit to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And the Arizona Coyotes take on the Avalanche in Colorado. The sports update is for Landmark Cinemas in theaters beginning tonight. John Wick, Chapter 4, starring Keanu Reeves. John Wick takes on his most lethal adversaries yet in the upcoming 4th installment of the series. With the price on his head ever increasing, Wick takes his fight against the high table global as he seeks out the most powerful players in the underworld. From New York to Paris to Osaka to Berlin. Debuting tonight, John Wick, Chapter 4 at a Landmark Cinemas near you. I'll delve into what our viewers have to say in the YouTube chat here in a second. You got a couple minutes to hit me up here at 902-518-3033 before I turn this off for the weekend. Ryan in Toronto says, great show today, Rod and crew. Football Fridays are always fun. John Ohm in Winnipeg. Ohm says, Regina Pats tonight versus the Saskatoon Blades. Stephen in North Dakota says, Football Friday was a snap for the great guests. Let's just talk about what's going on tonight. Ironically, I'm doing nothing tonight. Absolutely nothing, because Saturday's going to be insane. I got to get my rest. I'm old. We mentioned the NHL games. Major League Baseball, night games tonight in spring training. Blue Jays against the Phillies. Braves against the Red Sox. Sweet 16 basketball tonight. If you're into that, FAU, that's got to be my team. They play just down the street from my place in South Florida. They're off tonight, but they've moved into the Elite Eight, and they're playing this weekend. San Diego State tonight against Alabama, who went into this whole thing ranked number 1. Miami versus Houston, Princeton versus Creighton, Xavier versus Texas. That's if you're into March Madness. The Crew mentioning the dub tonight, Winnipeg Ice at Brandon. The Moose Jaw Warriors are at Prince Albert. Pats and Blades tonight in Saskatoon. Are they going to get close to 15,000 again? Or was the Bedard phenomenon last Sunday just that, a phenomena, one-time thing? We'll see tonight. Red Deer at Lethbridge, Prince George at Kamloops, Seattle at Portland, Victoria at Everett, Spokane at Tri-City, Kelowna at Vancouver. National Lacrosse League just one game tonight. San Diego at Panther City, but I know Sask is home. Was it Saturday night, right? Calgary's there? I think it's Calgary. I was reading the game notes for the league. It's week 16, or is it 17? There's a lot to keep up with here in sports right now. XFL week 6. Seattle at Orlando on Saturday. St. Louis at Vegas Saturday. Sunday, San Antonio at Arlington and Houston at D.C. I mentioned, okay, from Rhino Radio in Atlanta. Another great show, RP and crew. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Ryan. We are Atlanta's NHL show. There just wasn't a lot of NHL today other than the opening segment, the warm-up, where we covered where things are going wrong for the Calgary Flames. And that was a very difficult one last night to lose in regulation to the Vegas Golden Knights here, 3-2, 2 goals called back, and then have the Winnipeg Jets win at Anaheim. That might have sealed it for the Calgary Flames. But I'll say this about Daryl Sutter, whether he gets fired or not, and I've heard every rumor possible that he's going to be gone or that he might be bumped up to the general manager's chair. Brad Treliving's gone, or they're all gone. I'm hearing everything. But I'll say this about the Sutter way, because everybody says, well, you're such a good friends with the Sutters. I'm not. When this world figuratively burns to the ground, it'll be the old school Sutter values that will stand true. You wait and see. Write it down. Old school is the way to go. That's what we're going to get back to. It's just taking far longer than I'd like. I'll throw in the SJ tonight. Esteban at Flin Flon. The series is tied 2-2. Nipawin at Humboldt. The Broncos lead 3-1 and can close it out tonight at the EPA. Weyburn at Battleford's. The Stars up 3-1. And LaRange at Melfort. That series is tied up 2-2. Very busy day. Thanks to Randy Chevrier, Justin Dunk, Brandon Isaac, our entire crew at IKS. Good work, boys and girls. Have a great weekend. Be safe. We'll see you Monday at noon Eastern right here on Game Plus and WQEE.
Who has more fun than us?